Okay, so we have Dr. Baines here from Baines Physio. Okay.
Hi, Dr. Baines.
Okay, Dato, your video is lagging and your voice also.
Can you hear my voice?
Yeah, but it's breaking a bit. Okay, so I'm just going to start by welcoming everybody. All right. Thank you everyone for your, to be here today. And I am happy to have Victor Tan, our Deputy Chairman from Befrienders KL. Hi, Victor. Say hi.
Hi, everybody.
All right. Then we have, okay. And today's session is all about Victor's sharing on the calls and the statistics from Befrienders. And we're going to do a little bit of role play on how to address individual who is in distress or they just need some listening ear, right? So we're going to do a little bit of role play between me and Victor. And then we also have Dr. Baines to share with us why ergonomics is important and how it will reflect your mental wellness, your mental health. Because we are all connected. We cannot say we are this part and that part.
Yes.
Okay? So we are a whole, a holistic individual, and we need to embrace that. Okay. So can I have Victor to just introduce yourself first to the audience, and then we have Dr. Baines, and then we can go into session. Okay?
Okay, cool. Right. Okay. So hi, my name is Victor. I'm currently the Deputy Chair of Befrienders KL. And I'm also involved in a variety of other roles. I help with outreach. I do training as well. And of course, I answer the phone lines just like any other volunteer. So I've been with Befrienders KL for roughly around 11 years now as a volunteer. Okay. And outside of that, I have a full-time job. I'm basically working as a IT kind of consultant. I do IT related stuff. Yep. So that's it for me.
All right. Thank you, Victor. And Dr. Baines, a short intro. We can't hear you.
He's not unmuted. He's not muted.
No, he's not.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Now it's clear.
Okay. So I think I must have off the voice thing.
Okay.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Great. Well, I'm Sangeeta. We all know that I'm a physiotherapist, running chain of clinics in the country under the name of Baines Physio. Right. I speak quite a bit. Right now, I'm a senior consultant. That's it. Speaking about things, how to prevent. And physiotherapy has got two ends of it. One is therapeutic, when we are treating people with problems, and the other part is preventive. How do we prevent a problem in future? So we are basically, ablers. We make a person able and prevent.
Okay.
Sangeeta, right?
Yes. Okay. The connection seems to lag, Dato. Connection.
Again, please.
Your connection.
Seems to be not good, eh?
Yes, yes. Can you hear us? Can you hear me? Okay. Okay. Okay, thanks, Mina. Okay, can we have Victor first while waiting for Dr. Bain to be back because he seems to be still,
Yeah. Okay.
right? He's still. So we're gonna start with Victor. Victor, can you share about befrienders, about the calls that you guys been having, and I'm sure there's increase of number of calls, right, during MCO and all that. Okay, can you just share with us about befrienders and the calls and all?
Sure, cool. Yeah. So befrienders, in case you guys haven't heard of us before, we are basically an organization that provides emotional support through mainly our helplines. So prior to this crisis, we were running 24-hour helplines that's available to the public, and also we provide support through email and also occasionally through face-to-face. So we have been in operation. Befrienders KL anyway has been in operation in Malaysia since 1970. So we've come quite a long ways then. So that's essentially what we do. I mean, that's what we're most well known for. We also do suicide prevention. That's also one of our key, or perhaps our key goal or key role, is to really support people who are feeling suicidal and perhaps try to move them out from that kind of phase of mind. So that's what we are working with. And yes, so what happened during the MCO? So a lot of things, I guess. It's pretty much the same kind of issues that people contact us with. So they might be struggling with depression, anxieties, feeling moody, sadness, and so on. So that's all there. But the MCO seems to have exacerbated the situation. So let me give you an example, right? So we have quite a lot of people calling in who are not able to go and see their psychiatrist. And these folks are pretty suicidal. So they do actually need to see a psychiatrist, and they do need to get consultation on their meds, and perhaps change their meds and so on. Or they may need to see their psychotherapist, right?
Yes.
And what I understand is with a lot of counseling centers, maybe Sangeeta can talk a bit more about this, but it seems like quite a lot of counseling centers have actually shut down. They no longer even doing, they obviously are not doing face-to-face,
No, yeah.
but even phone, they are not even doing phone. So many like community low-cost counseling and therapy services have actually shut down during the MCO. So all these folks have basically been left stranded. And for some of them, if like they're highly suicidal, they kind of like, they really need to see their psychiatrist. And of course, if they go to a government hospital, the main priority now is whether you are infected or not.
Yes.
So if you're not infected, then okay, you're gonna have to wait because we have our hands full dealing with all these folks who are infected. So yeah, so that's one. Another thing is we notice is that sometimes people, especially married couples, they actually do need some time apart from each other. So if they are like stuck to 24 hours, okay, sorry, it's a bit sensitive, but yeah, if they're stuck together.
That's why we discuss sensitive matters so that people know.
Right.
We need to learn to the common language. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So sometimes people who generally need time away from each other. So like me and my sister, we suddenly discovered that there are a lot of things we don't agree on. Because we are sharing that space and all this stuff comes up, right? Previously, we don't really see each other that much. So I think the married couples that we see that as well. And so we'll see either the wives or the husbands will like, if they are already having a strained relationship, being like cooped together in the same place for a long period of time just makes it worse, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, then other people feeling just generally anxious about the uncertainty. So like, we have a lot of people who call us who obviously have had their jobs and livelihoods affected by the MCO. So you obviously know there are a lot of people who pretty much live day to day, or they run businesses which are pretty much like non-operating now because of the MCO. So they would have to pay their workers, and then I think the government mandated something like you still have to pay your workers something. So yeah, so a whole bunch of folks whose businesses are affected, they are feeling really worried. Obviously, because financially they might have taken loans and so on. So yeah, that's really affecting them.
Yes.
Others feel like really, really horribly bored. There are some people who like need to be out every day for at least a couple of hours. So, being stuck indoors for more than 3 weeks is like, wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can
And there's only so much YouTube and Twitter and Instagram although I have been on YouTube for pretty long. So, okay, I don't know. I mean, depends on people, right? So, yeah, some people do need to go out and see other people.
Okay.
And then, of course, some people, they are in transition, like they might be taking a temporary job in KL, for example, right? And they are actually coming from some other state, maybe Penang or Pahang, you know, some other state, and they're coming to KL for work, and they were expecting to go back for holidays or go back to see their family, and now they're basically stuck and they can't see their family members. So obviously they're going to feel very lonely and cut off, isolated. Yeah. And then, okay, and also talking about, you know, difficult marital situations. So we have situations where there's really ongoing domestic violence. So let's say the wife is stuck at home with a husband who physically abuses her. So, you know, now that she's stuck there, you know, previously she could obviously go out to WAO or, you know, one of those women help organizations, right? But right now she's like stuck at home with her husband all the time. And so if her husband is beating up on her, then yeah, it really, really gets much more worse.
Okay.
Yeah. Other folks generally, yeah, some people have a re-triggering of old anxieties. So some people may have really kind of resolved their psychological problems or issues, and then this situation somehow has triggered it and it's come back again. So it's obviously very frustrating for them to have to deal with it. And then furthermore, they can't get help now. So yeah. So yeah, I mean, these are, you know, examples of a variety of calls that we've got over this period of time. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Victor. And also, I like to address that, you know, from the calls that Befriender gets regarding domestic abuse, which increased, and also not to forget our child abuse case has increased by 57%. That's like 2,000 calls since we started MCO, right? And imagine now, with all this emotion, those who being domestic abuse, not only from the women point of view, yeah, for guys, so they do have domestic abuse, okay, from their spouse or their partner and all that, all right? So imagine when they go back to organization with all this negative emotion, negative thought that is inside of them, how are they gonna come back to work as normal?
Right.
Okay, how are they going to communicate with people? Because now they, for a man, if they see any woman who talks a lot or nag or you know, all these stereotype words, right? Then immediately they say, oh my God, this is like my wife. So if they cannot show the power at home, they might show the power when they are at work.
Right.
Okay, and the same goes to the women. If they see a man who is more authoritarian and it displays some assertive behavior, they might be link it back to their spouse and what happened at home, and they just, even though they can perform well, their performance will just decrease. So this is why this session is about how do you address, how many of them are going through this. And I think last month in Selayang Hospital, one of positive COVID-19 is committed suicide. You know, and we can see a lot of that. So how do we address this in organization, Victor?
Well, I mean, I guess organizations need to be prepared to actually, face this situation. I mean, so first thing is they need to be forewarned. Getting video from someone else. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So yeah, they need to. I mean, employers need to just know about the possibility of all those things that you mentioned, Sangeeta, actually happening. So first thing is being forewarned is being prepared, right? So that's the first thing. And I guess the HR managers can probably just check in with all their employees, maybe just have a short chat with everybody when they get back and just, suss them out and see how they're doing. And if it sounds like, these folks coming back after the MCO, they're really like super stressed out. I mean, of course, the HR manager, I'm going to assume, kind of knows how to read people. So assuming they can read them rather accurately, then maybe they might kind of refer them to counselors like you guys. And hopefully by then, some of the low-cost, counseling and therapy services that are available for the community have reopened up. So yeah, hopefully there'll be an uptake of the services. So I would generally just go down the route of, spot it first, like COVID-19, spot it spot it early on and try and recommend them to get professional help as far as possible. But of course, I'm aware that may not be possible in all situations, right? So, that's not feasible. So maybe those of us who are not so stressed out, maybe we can do our part to kind of support those people who are perhaps more adversely affected by this, MCO, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So we have Dr. Baines back.
Mm.
Dr. Baines, anything that you like to add?
Well, on this matter, I think, can you hear me now?
Yes, clear.
All right.
You're not
Thank you.
still.
All right. Well, on this area where Mr. Victor is trying to point out is that, well, early intervention and early detecting is very important, but it becomes a challenging because when things comes to you, it's already at the bad point. Bad point. You see, there's a tolerance period, and everybody has a ceiling. So sometimes people, Asians especially, they tolerate quite a bit, women and perhaps, and it comes to a point where it is already blown up. So I don't know how, you all look into this, but they're already blown up by then.
So, Victor,
Yeah.
okay, can we just do a short role play? Okay, because we want audience to know what's the approach that befrienders use, and maybe they can use this right in the organization.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
So imagine I'm the client. I'm the one with distress. We have a lot of issues.
Sure, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay.
All these additional callers calling you. Oh my God, you put your
I
hair
might be overacting and drama a little bit.
Okay, that's fine.
Right?
That's okay. That's
Looking
cool.
at my
You all like some drama, right? Enough of YouTube. We want real life drama, and Sangeeta is going to give it to us. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna be the client.
Okay.
Okay, and you respond, how do a befriender, or what do you call that, befriending or something like that?
Yeah, okay, yeah, whatever. Yeah, the kind of emotions are
yes.
going on.
And maybe our audience can learn some of the skill, and then they can apply when they go back to work. It might not be from the HR perspective, or anyone we always mention, we are in this together.
Sure.
So anyone, when they know about how to address by minimizing your judgment and your stereotype, it really assists. Okay, so now we're going to role play. I just imagine.
Role play, yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Victor. I have a lot of. I don't think I can come to work today.
Oh, okay. Sounds like you're feeling really distressed and anxious about coming into work.
Yeah. So it's because I don't know. I just feel that I still have this fear, and I don't really want to work. I'm afraid that I might. Before this, I'm not like this. I'm okay. I'm all out. I can go and all that, but I just cannot take it anymore. There's too many negativity, and for a person like me who is always positive, who always can go out and get things done, and now I feel that I cannot do anything. Now while talking to you, I find it hard to breathe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're really overwhelmed with, all the things that have been going on. And, it's understandable you feel frustrated because, like you said previously, you were a very positive person. And now you see this dramatic change in your mood, which is so totally unexpected and probably something you can't control as well. So, it's totally understandable that you feel really frightened and anxious about going into work.
Yeah. But, I don't think my boss or my colleague will understand what I'm going through because every time, it'll be the simple thing, and then they will say that over it, short term, and you can get over it. You are not alone. Even I myself go through these things. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell them because sometimes when they ask me, "Are you okay?" I just have to lie and say yes, even though I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't know how to address that.
Yeah. God, I mean, that really sounds difficult that, you have to put up this kind of false positive front in order to conform to other people's expectations, and then they will never kind of really understand what you're going through, and then perhaps you're frightened they're judging you as well, putting you into some kind of box and saying, oh, this person is lazy or whatever. Yeah.
So
Gosh.
what I
Hmm.
I just feel that it's so difficult for me to continue. I mean, in one part, I like my job. And also I do well. I perform, but again, I feel that at certain part, it's just difficult for me to just go.
Sure. Yeah.
And the house is so noisy, and I can't
Yeah.
take it anymore. And I have to do
Yeah.
so many things at once.
Yeah. Gosh.
Looking at the kids, looking at the family, looking after the elderly, and my space is so confined. I cannot move. I don't have a big house. I don't have a big space. It's just in a small room, and then I can see everyone there talking and looking, and it annoys me a lot.
Sure. Yeah. It's really understandable you feel so frustrated. I mean, like you say, your personal space has been violated, and you don't have any space to do the stuff that you're normally accustomed to doing. You can't do things at your own pace. So yeah, it's absolutely understandable. You feel totally stressed out. Feel really confused, really overwhelmed. Absolutely,
So,
those feelings you're having. Yeah.
So how should I go about how to manage? Because I tried my best. I tried to manage, and I'm getting restless, and now I start to shout. I start to scream because I don't know how to manage my emotion, and it's so much.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but like I said, it's really understandable you feel that way. Sangeeta, do you mind asking me, like, do you mind me asking, sorry, that whether you've, ever gone through something like this before in the past, like something stressful, similar to this, perhaps not as stressful, but kind of something similar to this before?
No, I can't recall anything, but
No,
I
okay.
feel that, it's too much. It's too many people talking. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I mean, yeah, you really sound very overwhelmed at this point of time. And if I understand you correctly, right now is the main stress coming from all these people around you talking really very loudly?
It can be, maybe I associate it when I work with people. There are some people in my organization can be very loud, and it reflect on that. But again, being at home has created this so much that I find it difficult to go out to I mean, it's not like difficult to go out to work. I mean, I can do my tasks, but I'm sure everything will be overwhelmed.
Yeah, sure. Right. And I also understand you said earlier that you're kind of fearful that your boss and also probably your colleagues won't really understand where you're coming from if you try to explain this to them. Yeah.
Yeah, what if they tell that I'm going to go crazy? What if they, with this current situation, with too many people retrenched, going to be out of work and all that. I don't want this to be one of the symptoms when they say, oh, you are not performing, you cannot come back to work, therefore I have you are out. So how am I going to sustain? How am I going to go out and do my best?
Right. Okay. I mean, those are very relevant fears and anxieties you are having, Sangeeta. And I'm sure a lot of people are probably having the same thing, having the same kind of fears that you're going through right now, during this MCO period. Yeah. So, first thing is probably you shouldn't feel like you're the only one who's kind of going through this, or there's something kind of really wrong with you. I mean, all those feelings that you're going through are, probably something very natural that any one of us would have if we were having to cope with the kind of situation that you have to go through. Yeah. So first thing is, just to let you know that, Sangeeta. Yeah.
So how should I move? What should I do?
Yeah.
I tried the breathing exercise. I tried the mindfulness exercise. I tried some things, just to go somewhere. But again, I'll come back to the same environment again.
Right. Yeah, it sounds like it's really frustrating, right? I mean, you've tried all these techniques that that you find on the internet, and maybe people have prescribed to you, but they don't really seem to be working. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, what I know is that different people probably have different ways of coping. So that's why I kind of just was wondering, like, in the past when you had to deal with something stressful, maybe not as stressful as this, but something kind of stressful. What did you notice really worked for you?
I go out for a walk.
Right.
But now I can't.
Yeah. Gosh. Yeah. It's quite a dilemma you find yourself in. No wonder you feel so, frustrated and overwhelmed. Yeah.
I'll go for a walk, or I go for a, I'll cycle around. If I'm at my place, I'll just take a bicycle and I cycle around. Or if I'm in the office, I cannot stand with certain people and all that, I just walk out, excuse myself and walk out, so that I just walk, take a 5 minutes, and then, but now I cannot go. I have to be here. I'm afraid I might get caught by the police and they're going to summon me.
Yeah, sure. No, that's a very valid fear. And, there have been many cases of people who have been summoned. Yeah. So, yeah, it's really understandable. You feel really, really stuck. Yeah. I mean, what I seem to hear you say is that when you walk, you seem to feel better. And do you think that's just because you're having your own space to yourself where you can think and you're not listening to all these people shouting around you?
Yeah. It's just me.
It's just you, right? So, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you're kind of needing your own personal space, which of course there's nothing wrong with that, because we all need our own personal space, right? Some time, some private time of our own to kind of wind down and so on.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering here, and maybe it's not possible, but whether you could just kind of lock yourself, I don't know, in your house, maybe, I don't know, for 30 minutes at a time in a day or something like that.
Like lock myself in the room and tell people not to disturb me.
I don't know, that may not work. I'm just, this is just something that I'm throwing off the top of my head. Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Victor.
Yeah.
Thank
You're
you
so welcome,
much.
Sangeeta. You know that, just again, whatever you're going through, it's just a very natural thing. So you shouldn't blame yourself for it. Okay. Just going to make things worse. Yeah. I mean, anyone who is going through this MCO is probably going to have the same feelings as you have, and personally, I think you're a very brave person to kind of share your feelings in this very public forum. Yeah, a lot of people won't. So yeah, so I would like to commend you for doing that. Yeah, Sangeeta.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Victor.
You take care of yourself, Sangeeta.
All right, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye. Okay, now off.
Okay.
Off, right?
Okay.
So
off,
You're a good
okay.
actor.
Very both of
Sangeeta.
us can act very well. Huh? I was in the moment. I was having
Look
that
like you're
emotion.
good actors.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think Sangeeta, that's probably a kind of common scenario you probably get when you are listening on the call to callers, right? I'm sure.
Yes. These are the normal calls that I get and all that. And
right.
And
sure.
And for those who are, online right now with us, our audience, so these are a few steps that you can take. You are not there to rescue, you are not there to solve the problems, the issues, right? And if you look at Victor's approach, the way he talk, it's so soft and gentle. And yes, it can be quite long-winded, because this is how we normally talk to people. It's not straight to the point. Okay, you do this, you do that, you get things done. Maybe I suggest you this. It's not like that. It's about empathetic listening, okay, and then validating those emotions, okay, and say that you are not alone. We are all in this together. And if you look at how Victor was narrating and the conversation, he didn't make me feel that I'm to be blamed. He didn't make me feel that, it's my fault. And when someone say that to you, and when you are listening, you feel much better. You got what I mean? Okay. And okay, now when someone have this confined environment or role, or they have this issue, right, Dr. Baines, because we know that your posture also plays a role in your in your life, in how in your mental health and all that. What are the techniques and all that we can use based on your vast knowledge and experience, right, and skill, that we can manage, that we can do it at home?
Uh, uh, you see, when you said in your scenario that you walk, yeah, there are a lot of homes which don't have space at all. But those homes are particularly in the apartments, you see. So you can still go for a walk within your or your condominiums, wherever you are, within the staircases. You can come down, listen to music, you know, and do some, if you do some painting, you know, some of these things which can take you, diversify you from a situation. So it's very important to have a hobby, because a hobby can at least elevate you from one point to the other point, because it can actually isolate you from a position. So you can put your earphones and listen to some music and start maybe doing some painting work, or if you're a musician, you start playing some music, because all these things affects the whole body. You know, there are other areas where you can think of. You know, perhaps Victor could ask you what are the hobbies you have, take you out of that mind. You know, think, okay, what do you other things that you can do? You know, do you speak to your friends? So all these things relaxes your mind. You know, because you are confined to an area, you're confined to the noise. Yes, it's all very scary around, but I think there are other areas. So I always emphasize on good hobbies like painting, music, these kind of things, which or playing a musical instrument, which is always very helpful in this kind of situation where you don't get bored. So that's what I do myself. So now coming back to the body, the posture, I would like to talk about something that, of course, relates to this mental state, because mental state is something that we cannot isolate from the body, right? And most of the time, if I have to just put a slide here, can I give you a small slideshow if you don't mind?
Yes.
Yeah,
Share screen.
share something to you. Yeah, share screen to you. And here we are. You know, we
I
are
can't
unconscious of
I
our body.
can't see
Can you
your
see the screen,
screen.
everybody?
Nope.
Oh, you can't see this. You cannot see the screen, huh?
Yeah.
Let me see. Hang on. Can you see the screen now?
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
No. Oh, sorry. I did not ask for the screenshot. Here we are. Okay. I'm going to share something here. But you see, most of the
It's
time,
still
what
not there.
happens is
You share screen, you go at the bottom, share
those
screen,
disabled particular. Okay.
and then you
Yeah.
have like desktop, whiteboard, iPad, and things that you can share.
Let me just get that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I just on the screen. Host disabled participant screen sharing. You have already disabled. Did you?
Huh? Nope.
You have disabled the host disabled participant screen sharing. Did you disable that or what? I can't put it up. It's like disabled.
Okay,
It appears here.
can you send to me? Then I'll just see if I can share it from
Send
my
to you.
side.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
WhatsApp, yeah?
Oh, all right. I'll do
Okay.
that. WhatsApp is it?
WhatsApp.
Or is it email?
WhatsApp.
Oh, WhatsApp you. Okay. Let me see. Let me check.
Or email
Give
is
me a
okay.
minute, please.
Yeah.
Email can. All
Yeah,
right.
can.
Great. So what I'm trying to tell you here is that that we tend to isolate ourselves from a body, okay, and that can become a problem, because simply because uh, when we think that our mind is the is something different, and our body is something different, you see. So most of the time we are not aware of our body. Let me just email you. Give me a minute, please.
Okay.
I just email you, Sangeeta.
All right.
Little time. I think everybody is on the line. Looks like it's difficult. Huh? This is Sangeeta.com, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, here we are.
Okay.
Upload the whole thing to you. Sorry for this. All right, so it's coming up there.
Okay. So while
So,
wait.
all right.
Okay, done.
So we are
Okay.
waiting for you now. Have we done? I've done already now. So talking
Okay.
about that, so
Mm-hmm.
our body, when we are go through the stress that we have, the first muscles that go into also stress along with the mental stress is your neck, the neck muscles. The neck muscles are the one which, and the spinal muscles. To start the neck muscle, because you are having this particular stress, which is right in the mind, and your neck muscles are affected. Each time a person who is stressed, study shows that the muscles of the neck at the back here, they get into spasms and they are very difficult to release them and to because we have got a few layers of muscles going right until the spine, so the outer layer muscles, the inner layer muscles, the other muscles, and then the core muscles. So these muscles one by one start getting stressed up. So when this thing happens over a period of time again and again, you start having neck pains and also. Now, another thing that takes place is anxiety. Along with the anxiety, you have got a lot of gastric juices coming out from your stomach. Okay, these gastric juices disturb the parasympathetic nerves. The parasympathetic nerves are the nerves which are vagus. They are running everywhere. And they are very close. And they also stress up the neck. So majority of the time, a stress, mental stress, lead to anxiety, anxiety lead to gastritis, gastritis lead to headaches, and we call it occipital headaches. So what we do is we normally take Panadols, we take a lot of medicines to get that rid of. But in natural fact, if you try to take care of your stomach by just taking some maybe simple things like Actel and all that, it takes away that occipital headache. Now, when you have these headaches in the occipital region, it's mostly because of stress, only the thing. Then this stress slowly and slowly start giving you trouble into the spine and to the back. So our body is subject to our mind. So when this stress takes place, then adds on to the posture that we keep, the postures that we keep normally, now especially the MCO, many people who are approaching me having neck problems, back problems, you see. So here we are. So most of the time, can you see the screen now, everybody?
Yes.
Yeah. So if I have to run the screen, I think I can't run the screen. Can you run the
Yeah.
screen, Sangeeta?
You yes, I
Run.
can. I can.
Yeah. We can do that. It'll be
Mm.
good.
Okay.
And you just click. So now click on. So most of the time we are, unconscious of our body movement, and we think that we are moving about in space, but we are not conscious of our body at all. And what are the good postures? Sometimes we say people can, hey, walk straight. How straight can a person walk? We cannot keep the army position in the body. So, and you see many of the postures are like that. You see here, this person has got a slouch. He keeps himself slouching.
Mm.
Many women have this. Many young teenagers have this posture. Some of the teenagers, the girls, young girls who are already growing their breasts, they'll tend to get into this posture. And this posture sometimes becomes very permanent, you know. And sometimes we have this posture where you throw the hip forward. You throw the hip forward and you keep this posture. And this is a bad posture for the back. And if you go to the next slide, you will see, click, you see a plumb line should pass through the body. If you take a line drawn on a mirror or put a small tape which is straight down there, the line, can you click please? And the line that should run through you should be right. You can see this line coming up. It should be next click, please. And it can just keep on clicking. One, see, you have a central point in the ear, you have the shoulder point, the spine here, and the knee here, and the ankle. This line should actually follow through this way. This is the best posture a person can have. So if you can allow your body to have a gauging system in the body, you can put a small tape in the house. Since you're in the house, if you have a lot of people in the family, try to check your postures, every of you all. Take a deep breath and let go and drop your shoulders and then see your posture. So
Okay.
this is another way. So next click please, if you see the spine corresponding to your neck, and you can see this occiput here at the first bone that is right up here, which takes place, and that actually controls the movement of your neck, forward, backwards, and sideways, both. So the next first two, can you have the next click please?
Yeah.
And
So
then
in a
there
way
you
that,
see, yeah.
yeah. Now you see?
So yes, I can see.
Okay.
So click on, so we have the majority of the stress takes place in this area. Okay, then the next stress, next click please, it goes to this area. This is the majority area, then it passes on, the stress then passes on to this area here. Then you start having a lot of pain around the scapula. Okay, next click please. Then after that, the stress goes to this area, next click please. And if we have a tummy coming up here, then this area becomes even more stressed up. So this stress over a period of time just goes up into this area, and you start having a lot of problems. Now, when you have problems around this area, you will have problems in your, hands, your elbows, your wrist, your shoulders. So all the other problems that appear from there is actually an outshoot from these stressed muscles. And it's very common in city dwellers, people who are working in the office, people who are working in the homes, to have this stress added on to you. Apart from the mental stress you have, you got a postural stress that's adding on to you. Next one, please. So now if you see straight here, next click, you will have a line which is now running. Your level, when you see in front of a mirror, your ear level should be always the same, the shoulder level, the hip level, the knee level, and the ankle level. This is the level that you must see. Are you slouching to the side? Are you turning down to the side? Is your neck, the muscles on your, are the level of your ears the same? These are things that you should check, even in a child. So you can do this checking in the home as well. All right.
Okay.
So now, to keep your posture, what's a good posture? A good posture is from the way you walk. Now you spoke about body language, right, Sangeeta?
Yes.
When a
Yeah.
person is having a good mental state, his posture will be always good. Now, what is a good posture? Always remember, you need to, next slide, next click. What you do here is that you should always walk with a heel strike. Can see this just now? A heel strike. And this is a bad posture. Watch your step. Never step with a toe strike. Okay, click again. Never walk with the T slide. So never 4-foot strike. When you walk with a 4-foot strike, your posture change. Like the earlier picture I showed you, with a heel strike, you try walking with a heel strike, and walk naturally. And make sure that the first strike that the leg does on the floor is on your heel. So
Okay.
not on your flat foot. So when you start walking this way, your posture becomes very good. You have got very good posture, and if you try, you will be in a better state of yourself and with the confidence. So the things that I want to now emphasize on is that, we have a head which is about five kilos, it's about 5 kilos head. So your
And these are
body,
the thing that so many things running in the mind, and they need.
we need to know
Yeah.
that. We need to know it, right? So
Yeah.
if say you're an average of 80 kilo a person, you have got, you see here on this chart, you will see the head is already 3% of your body weight. 3% of your body weight, no? So 3% of your body weight. Click, please. So one click. So you see this head, okay, one click only. One click only. The first click. Okay, this head. This is 3% of your body weight. Now remember, imagine you are sitting on a handphone with the arms not supported and your head is hanging down this way. You have got 5 kilos hanging right at the point of axis I showed you just now. Those muscles now holding your head is trying to keep your head upright, right? And look at the arms. Both the arms contribute about 36% of your body weight. Both the arms. Now, if both the arms have to be suspended and not supported, you have 36% of that body weight and plus 5%, 40% of your body weight is all stressing up your neck muscles. Stressing up your neck muscles. So what do? You don't support this elbow. It's most of the time you see people on the handphone, they are just stuck with the handphone with the head completely hanging down and the arms are not rested. So 40% of the body weight is been hung at your neck. Now this is going to add on to a stress, which is already there in your MCO is already causing a mental stress there. Now physical stress, right? Now if we have to do this, now over a period of time, there'll be a compounded stress. It'll be stress, 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 and stress. Your muscles are going through a stress mentally and physically. Mental stress gives you spasms, and physical stress also adds on to the spasms. And I would say that, and then we don't sleep enough. And with all this compounding over the years, you start having this neck pain. And the neck pain sometimes manifests in your elbow, like tennis elbow. It manifests in your wrist. We call it a mouse syndrome, a carpal tunnel syndrome, whatever you call. This all manifest. Some people have frozen shoulder, it manifests. But it all starts from the neck, right? So what is important? The most important thing is the next slide, if you see, can you go to the next slide? So I'm just trying to tell you what are the weights here. Now, what are the bad postures in the home? We see many people standing like this. This is not a good posture, standing on one leg. And we see a lot of ladies doing this. They cook in the kitchen like this. They stand talking to people like that. They start talking on the phone in this position. And you're stressing your back, right? You're stressing your knees, right? The next position that we see in MCO is this one. On the sofa, lying down, and then sleeping. Imagine the neck. And when you are sleeping, your dead weight is even much heavier. And your head start falling here or that side. And that stresses the neck again, right? So the next slide you see another bad posture, which happens very much. We tend to sleep on a relaxing chair. Majority of the time, watching TV or reading a book, and we just sleep off like this. This is also another bad posture. And another one more posture is that, this is the one, huh? So these are the bad postures that we do keep. Now, what's important? Remember one thing. When you throw yourself onto any chair or bed, or you're trying to now position yourself to do something which is going to be, taking away your mind from the body, always place your body in a good position. And when you sit on the sofa, like for this lady, it would have been better for her to have a neck collar, the collars that we buy when we travel around, when we travel in the
the one that you put
that,
on your neck,
that neck would have been better for her. And then keeping these some kind of a cushions over the arm here so that the shoulders are elevated and it's placed this way. So in that position, you are still better off, right? So always remember to position yourself before you are going to read something, because next thing you're going to do is you're going to sleep, watching TV. So keep yourself in a good posture. That's very important. Now, the next thing that you need to do is that always remember, we are all handphone bound. I think majority of the population around the world is all with a smartphone. So always remember that the elbows are well rested. The elbows are rested either on the armchair rest or on the bed, on the table or dining table, wherever. Or if it's a sofa, keep a few more cushions on your legs and place your hands over it. Remember that these things will take away 40% of that weight that goes onto your neck, that 40% you will elevate that weight from the neck, and ultimately you have a good posture.
Yeah.
So that is important actually for this particular situation.
Thank you, Dr. Bains. And also, when you don't have a good posture, the way you sit, the way you stand, the position of your hands are not there, over time it will create aches. And then together with unsolved or thoughts or emotion that is running in your mind, then you cannot address it properly. All right. What I mean is that, when too many thoughts are running in your mind, and then when your position, your sitting position or your standing position or any position is not at the right place, at the right posture, okay, it's like someone like talk to us, and then we can't take it, and then we scold back. So this is the emotion that you can get by not having a good physical and mental and emotional well-being. So all these are related. And I also would like to address our Victor. Victor, you mentioned that right now you have opened the Befrienders to Skype, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you share more on that? And maybe, by using Dr. Bain's ergonomics posture, so make sure that, we all need to be mindful so that you don't affect a lot of our, stress. Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. So okay. One thing is right now we're running on Skype at the moment. So if you guys check out our website, befrienders.org.my, yeah, I mean, basically just go to Google, type Befrienders KL. You should see our website should be the first URL that comes up. So we have information on how to contact us using Skype. Yeah, but yeah, in line with what Dr. Bains was talking about. Yeah, so I mean, things like, of course, making sure your webcam is, positioned properly. So if your webcam is in a laptop in front of you and your head's always down like that, then obviously that's not really good for you if you're going to be 2 hours talking to someone like that, right? So I guess you probably want to right now, I've got my webcam sitting on top of my monitor. So I'm looking at my monitor I'm almost kind of looking 90 degrees. So I can kind of keep my head more or less, straight, I guess, for a prolonged period of time. So stuff like that, and then of course, making sure you're sitting in a good chair where you have your elbows rested on it. Yeah, I mean, because you're going to be talking, a lot of our callers will probably talk for an hour or more. So if you're going to be in a stationary position for an hour or more, you obviously want to be, obviously in good ergonomical position. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And another thing that I would like to add also, that when you are dealing with employees or anyone, with your colleagues, right, who have issues and all that, be mindful of their body language also, right? Be mindful of, whether they hold their back or they're touching or they're fidgeting, because all these relates to relate to discomfort of that individual. And maybe we'll have learned a few things during my role play with Victor, which, we can act very well, Victor.
Awesome. I'm going to get nominated for the Oscars or something like that. Okay.
Later.
Sorry, no, it's good. It's the Joker, right? You have to go really, really. Yes. Okay, yes. Okay.
And
fine.
then with the position by Dr. Bains, and through the last 3 days that we have discussed about how can we assist our fellow colleague. Okay, how can organization assist individual who is going through mental health challenges, if not mental health illnesses? Okay, and by paying attention empathetically, empathetic listening. You don't need to, you see, during the session earlier also, Victor was not mentioning, did not tell me about his problem, about this and that. He is just acknowledging me, acknowledging my emotion, saying that it's valid, acknowledging my fear, acknowledging the scenarios that I'm going through, and making me, feel safe and comfortable. So that is important. And then again, we have Dr. Bain who talk about, the way you sit, the way you stand, the way you walk, the way you move. All these plays a role, because when we talk about health, you have the physical, you have the mental, and you have the emotion. So by understanding this, when when we are ready to go back to work, you have all this knowledge to apply it later on. Yeah. So Victor, anything else that you want to share, regarding what can organization or individual,
Right.
assist another individual? Yeah.
I think it's just kind of like, a lot of things that you said earlier, but also, basic, I guess, basic compassion and care for each other. I mean, you don't really need to be like, have some really fancy emotional befriending skills, but, just saying things like, how was it for you? Sounds like you're really having a difficult time. Just basic, body language and sentences that you can just say to just show that you care for someone. Just like, how are you doing? Oh, you look like you're kind of really stressed out. I mean, something simple like that, just to show that you're at least trying to empathize with the person. I think that's can go a long way actually to help a lot of people. Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Baines, anything that you like to add?
Well, I think with the MCO, stay connected to yourself. I think get your hobbies, do something which is going to take away your mind from a lot of stress. Take on to your hobbies if you have any. Start painting. Everybody is a painter. You try that. Go back and sit in the family and tell, all right, everybody, draw a flying horse and see how everybody draws. Have fun, and sit with the family and do a lot of games. I think that's a good thing. That relaxes your mind, relaxes your body, relaxes the muscles. It's a great thing. But for those people who are staying alone, I think they can do a lot of other things. For instance, they can do some painting job or some sculpturing job. I think do something. Go to the net. There are a lot of things there out there which can teach us. That relaxes us. So on the other hand, I also give a free consultation to people who have got pains and aches and having strokes. Many people are having strokes right now. And you can always get me and send an email on datobaines@gmail.com. Simple as that. So send me an email at datobaines@gmail.com, and I will definitely get, some kind of solution can come from us.
Yeah.
All right.
So now you have the two experts. Okay, one coming from Befrienders. Okay. Okay, Befrienders, do you need volunteers?
Oh, yes, we do. We are so overwhelmed at the moment. We don't have
can
enough
you
volunteers.
share more?
Share. Okay. Yeah. So we normally have 2 intakes a year where we train people. So the training is basically like a 8 or 9 week training. 8 or 9 sessions held across consecutive weeks.
Okay.
It's usually twice in a year. We'll announce on our social media sites, also on our website as well.
Okay.
So yeah. So and the thing about this training is you don't have to have a background in psychology or in counseling or whatever. I mean, you don't need to have a formal degree. Of course, if you have, that's great, but if you don't, that's fine as well. So I mean, in fact, the majority of volunteers don't have formal training in psychotherapy or in counseling or anything like that.
Yes,
Yeah. So that's good. So I mean, all the people in our organization, they're just basically normal folks who not to say that you're not normal, Sangeeta, yeah, but I mean, we don't need to like yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, no, I mean, you don't need to be like special and have like
those skills. Yes,
those skills, exactly. Yeah, because we teach some very basic skills, like the kind of skills I apply to you. So it's something that anybody can learn. It's not like super complicated, heavy mind stuff. So so we really need volunteers to handle the calls we get. Obviously, I'm going to expect not only during this MCO, right, but after the MCO, you talk about the economic fallout that has happened because of MCO and the after effects of that economic fallout. I mean, people are saying the world is going to go into a recession. I mean, it's looking likely, right? So a lot of people are going to lose jobs and all. So the stress is, the stress effects are going to be prolonged. They're just going to continue for months after the MCO is over.
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, we definitely do need volunteers. And I mean, not only us, I mean, you guys also, I mean, the counselors also, I think you probably need more people as well. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Can I ask something to Victor?
Yes, doctor.
What are the things that you really do if you're not having professionals to speak about? Then can you give me an example of the workshop that you have?
Oh, you mean the training we have?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the training runs across 8 weeks. It runs across 8 consecutive, it runs across 8 sessions, so it's usually 8 consecutive weeks, okay? And so we would train volunteers, you know, on those kind of skills that you saw me, you know, using when I was interacting with Sangeeta just now in that role play, right? So we would train them how to interact with callers that way, pretty much. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Good. It's
So
important.
we're going to end the session now. So thank you to Victor, right, from Befrienders, okay, Deputy Chairman, and also Datuk Bains. Okay, if you need assistance, if you need, you know, if you feel that you can't reach out to your colleague or to your family members, you know, we always have the best Befrienders here. And then for those of you who feels more comfortable to communicate in Tamil, we have Snegam.
Snegam, right, exactly. Thank you for
Right?
mentioning that.
Snegam,
Thank you,
yes.
yes.
Snegam, if you feel comfortable to speak in Tamil or different dialect, then you have, for those who want to speak in Mandarin or in Cantonese or Hokkien in any dialect, so we have the Buddhist Association, right, Victor?
There's BGF, I think,
Okay.
they do that.
All right.
There's also another one called, oh God, I can't recall now. My mind's not working. Yes, obviously.
You don't have Punjabi, yeah?
That will be you.
Well, we actually have a couple of volunteers in our center who can speak Punjabi. Yeah. So,
all right, wonderful.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
good.
that's great. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So just
Yeah.
reach out. It's okay. You know, it's not about judging people. It's not about stereotyping people. It's not about telling you are wrong. You know, it is not valid. It's not like that. It's about people. You share, even though you find there's no solution. You think you cannot do it, but you know that it's out of your chest. You know that you just went it out. Okay. And rather than just keeping all those emotion inside. And when organization, when your colleagues share with you or your family members share with you, right? Sometimes you don't need to give the solution. And the role play that me and Victor did earlier is a basic example that your presence is more important. Okay, even though it's not physical present, just listening and know that you are there. Just to listen, it carries a lot of weight. Yeah. And again, we have tele-counseling, we have Mercy Malaysia, you have Lembaga Counselors. There's so many that you can just reach out.
Right, exactly.
Right?
So yeah, so if they call our lines, they are not free, then, you know, try those lines. If your lines are not free, then they try our lines and
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm also with Talia No Kase. Okay, so
cool. Awesome.
Yeah. So we have shifts, okay? We have like night shift, morning shift, evening shift, all the shifts.
Right.
I also will be conducting a half hour, just a basic, okay, PFA, psychological first aid, just for you to understand how can you assist or help others. I will put in I will blast the brochure later, maybe not today, maybe tomorrow and all that, via Telegram. So those of you who have not registered, please register. So any last word from Victor and Dr. Bains? Dr. Bains first?
Well, I think good time to stay home and do a lot of things, but be positive. That's all. I think it's very difficult to be positive sometimes, but just be positive. Just think about today, tomorrow, and don't overthink, and don't worry smartly. I learned yesterday.
Worry smartly. Okay.
So very smartly and don't overthink. So just remain where you are and enjoy your situation where we are right now. We can't do much without I mean, MCO is already restricting everybody, but you can't do much. But do go for walks around your vicinities, not out of your vicinities, but within your own apartments. Go for it. Take some steps down, steps up, and all that stuff. I think that'll be good. Perhaps in the next video, perhaps in the next sessions, we may speak about home care for the elderly. What everybody have the elderly, and sometimes people do not know what to do with them. See, how do you modify things for them? So that will be another area we can speak about. Okay, all the best to everybody. Thank you for listening to us.
Thanks a lot, Dato'.
Victor, any last thing that you want to share?
Stay safe and Namaste, which is the new social distancing
Yeah, oh,
gesture.
namaste, right? Yeah, so we have
Okay.
namaste. Then for
Yes.
Punjabi, we have sat sri akal.
Sasri
Oh, okay, see, I
Then
learned
we have
something new.
vanakkam.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, then we have vanakkam. You
And
know,
the Japanese, you know, just be away.
yeah,
Oh,
That's
just nod your head. Okay.
and the Malaysian way, you know,
and that, yes,
Okay,
true.
okay.
Okay,
Okay.
Okay,
great,
thank you.
lovely.
Thank
Lovely.
you all.
Okay,
Tune in
guys. Okay.
again tomorrow. We have
Yes.
Dato Alia, and also we have Mala Willy, our emotional EQ expert. Yeah. So again, 10 to 11, be on board. I will send the link half an hour before and catch up. So stay strong. Remember, reach out, speak out, and stay tuned because we have a lot more other sessions that we can share with you guys. So all the best. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye,
Bye.
Victor. Bye, Dato.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
Savita. Bye,
Thank
Bye.
Dato.
you.
Bye,
Thank
Victor.
you.
See you.
Bye.
All that.
See
Thank
you
you.
guys.
Thank
All the
you.
best. All the
Bye.
Bye.
best. Bye.
And to everybody.